name is Rodrigue. In this video, I'm going to show you how to send an Autocad command using VBA programming. This is a simple example which I made. We are going to draw a rectangle, and this one is already working. So if I click this button, draw, this program is going to launch Autocad and will draw a rectangle. And it's currently opening Autocad. Just be patient. Yes, our Autocad open with our rectangle. Yes, our rectangle with the correct sizes. So as you can see, this is our rectangle with the correct sizes. And then the program, here's the size. The width is 500, the height is 1000. So I'm going to show you now from scratch how I did this. And to do so, let's open a new workbook. I'm going to open a new workbook, and we are then going to do everything from scratch. To open your VB project, new project, go to stop to developers and Visual Basics. So let's open a new let's insert a new module. Yes, a new module, and in that new module I'm going to create a subroutine. I will call it draw rectangle. Yes, our subroutine. We are going to put all our code in this subroutine to do our. And the first thing that we need to do is to create our variables. And the first thing what I'm going to create is it will be a variable to hold AutoCAD application. So I'm going to call it AutoCAD application as object. I will declare it as object, and then this variable is going to hold our AutoCAD application, and the second one will be AutoCAD document as objects, declares an object. And then the second thing I'm going to do is going to declare the array. I will declare an array to hold the coordinate of our rectangle. I will call it rect array. I will give the size as double. And you know, our rectangle will have four sides. I mean four corner, and each corner has the x and y coordinate. So if you times each will be now each size, it will be 8 points. So it will be the size of the area will be 8 plus 2. I will tell you why is 8 plus 2 just now. So it will go from 0 to 9. 0 to 9 mean there will be 10 elements in that array, starting from 0 to 9. And we now also need to declare a variable. This will be now our rectangle itself to hold our rectangle object. Let's call it a rectangle as object, is a class object element. Now this is our variable that we will need in this procedure. Now we now need to launch AutoCAD. You know, now we need to test first to see if your AutoCAD application is open. If it's open, then we don't need to open a new one. So we just need to get the one that is open and use it for our exercise. And if it's the AutoCAD is not open, then we need to open AutoCAD from scratch and use it for our exercise. And the code that to get AutoCAD, we will just call it. Let's use our procedure, our variable that we declared earlier. This variable, let's set it. It's an object. You need to set it to. Let's get an object. We need to get part name, and we need to AutoCAD application. So this line is going to get an AutoCAD application which is open. Like for now, I got the AutoCAD open. So if I run this procedure, it is going to get this AutoCAD application and use it for our application. But if it is not open, it's going to generate an error. Let's just contain that error. So on error, let's handle that error. An error, resume, next. This means that if it's an error, carry on, ignore the error and carry on. And here, let's trap the error and clear it to 0 on error. So this means if there's no AutoCAD application open, go clear the error, and error go to 0. So it means that clear the error. And so if it's an error, it will clear the error. Now let's check if an AutoCAD is open or not. If AutoCAD app is nothing, then this means when AutoCAD is nothing, mean that there were no AutoCAD open. And in that case, we now need to create and to launch AutoCAD from scratch, which means AutoCAD. We need to create an AutoCAD application. Create object, AutoCAD application, AutoCAD application. So from now, we know that our AutoCAD application is open. We have created our AutoCAD application, and now let's make it visible. Let's make it visible true. Set this property to true so that now you can see AutoCAD opens. And then once we want the position, now our AutoCAD is open, and we can do whatever we want now from here. But what we need now is to draw a rectangle. Now let's go back to our Excel. What we need to do here is I need to get the height of the rectangle. Here's the size of the rectangle that we need to draw. And then let's get our array. We need to store all the coordinates in this array. And let's go back again to our thing. Let's tell you one thing. Let's just I want to illustrate so you understand properly what we're doing here, so you understand what we're doing. So this will be P1 point number 1. No, this is point number 1. And then let's go to this side. Point number 2. Let's go here also. Point number 3 and point number 4. These are the point of the rectangle, and each point will have a x and y coordinate, and so on. So if I want to break this down, I will take the origin, the point number 1, to have a coordinate. Let's say I will put here x and y. This is x and y of each. So point number 1 will have a coordinate 0, 0. Point number 2 will have a coordinate x is 500 and y is 0. And point number 3 will have a coordinate x is 500 and y is 1000. Point number 4 will have a coordinate. We have a coordinate of x is 0 and y is 1000. Now I need to close this side. That we will go back to point number 1. We go back to point number 1 of coordinate 0, 0. So this, let's just increase the form of this thing so that you understand. So this is the area, the coordinates of this rectangle. So we are going to draw basically a polyline. We're going to draw a polyline with this coordinates, and this will produce our rectangle. This is going to produce our rectangle. So let's go back to our code. So I wanted to illustrate this to you so that you know where we're getting how we're getting our coordinate to produce our rectangle in AutoCAD. So let's just point. So we are going to go from 0, point 0, got a coordinate 0, call 0. So I will call this is point number 1. So we need to know, you didn't know, this is point number 1. This is point number 1. The coordinate 0, 0, as I explained earlier. This is point number 1. And then let's copy this and paste at the bottom. And point number 2. If you go back to our Excel, point number 2, we got x 500 and y 0. So x is 500, so this will be 2, 3, and this will be 500. And oh no, what we need to do, I need to read this information from here, which is cell F5. Cell F5. So I will just say active sheet range F5. Active sheet range F5. And then let's copy this and paste at the bottom. And point number 3. Point number 3 is point number 3, x 500, y 1000. So this will be 4 and 5. So this will be this is fine, and the y coordinate will be F6. As you can see, F6 I'm getting from here. This is F6, range F6. And then point number 4, and this will be number 6 and 7. Point number 4, if you go back to our thing, we'll find out that x is 0 and y is 1000. Point number 4 got a coordinate of x0 and y 1000. So this will be F5. This will be 0. This will be 0. And F6 is 1000. Now we need to close our rectangle by going back to point number 1. This is how we close our rectangle. Now we got all the information about our rectangle, and we now need to draw the rectangle into AutoCAD. And to do so, add, document add. So now that we added a new document, so we show now that there's a document open. Now we can send a command to draw our rectangle. Autocad zoom S10, and now we need to clear our memory by setting all our object to 0. Send rectangle object equal to nothing, and we also need to send our AutoCAD object we created, AutoCAD to 0, to nothing. So we need to release all the memory. AutoCAD document is nothing. Okay, so now we have set all our. Okay, let's try and see if it's work out. Let me just clear this. And we will try both case. If for now, let's assume our AutoCAD is open, and we're going to use it and see what happened. Let's try to see. No, this is the first mistake here. This will be 8 and 9. 8 and 9, yes. So 8 and 9. Okay, let's just try and see what happened. Okay, I didn't put a T on there. Okay, let's try again. Oh la la, this should be this way. AutoCAD object, yes. AutoCAD object, okay. Almost there, guys. You know, tapping errors. I guess it's fine now. Let's just check. Yes, our rectangle that is drawn. Now let's just, I want to close AutoCAD completely, and then I will do the same exercise. And before we do this, let's just let's just create a button. Let's create a button to call our. Let's create a button. I will put a button here, and let's give a name to the button. I will call it draw rectangle. Let's add the test height. Okay, so here's the button, and let's assign so let's call our, here's our function, here's our SOP. Let's call it so. This is how we assign a macro to a button. So we double click to assign a macro to this button. You double click to the button and open, and you copy the name of your sub function. You copy another sub function and you paste it between the sub the command in the command sub procedure. And now we can call we can launch our program from here. So I can just click here draw, and our program is going to launch AutoCAD from scratch, and the program will also draw our rectangle. Be patient, is opening. So here is our rectangle. Here's our rectangle. So let's if I change the size, let's put this 250 and 500 and do the same thing. Here's a new rectangle is open. Thank you guys for watching, and then you can download this spreadsheet in the link in description, and then you can manipulate it as you want.